Hello! This is our video on making our paint mixture page. You need all of the supplies that I'm about to list. Make sure you've gotten this paper from me for this assignment. We're going to learn how to use two painting tools today, our palette knife and our paintbrush. Okay, let's get started. Hello! This is our video on making our different paint mixtures. We are going to go through our different paint tools, including a palette knife and a paintbrush. We're going to talk about all the different shades and tints and how to make them. So, I've got two different color combinations on my page over here. This is the page you are making. If you do not have this copied down already, pause the video. You're going to go through and draw your 6 squares and make all of these labels. Okay, once you do have that page finished, you're going to start up here with your paintbrush side. So, with our paintbrush, we are using this as a mixing tool. You need to have your palette paper. You're getting that in the back of the room in the supply closet. That is also where you are getting your palette knife, but we are going to use that later. Okay, again, both of those are in the back of the room in the supply closet. Okay, to make our paintbrush mixtures, we are first going to go over how to make a pure color. A pure color is just color straight out of the tube, no white or black or anything else added to it. So that means you can take 2 colors from the tube that aren't white or black, mix them together, they remain a pure color. And that's what I've done right here. I've scooped up a little bit of blue with my paintbrush and a little bit of yellow with my paintbrush, mix them together until I've made a pure color. And then that's what I painted over here in the middle. Okay, so that's how you make a pure color with your paintbrush. When you are making a shade, you are taking your pure color, so the pile we just mixed, and adding black to it. Okay, we always want to add black to make a shade. I've got a little bit of it squeezed out over here. I'm going to scoop up a little bit of my black, add that into my pile. And now that's no longer a pure color, that's a shade. So that's it right there. Now I need to make a tint, and a tint is when we are adding white to a color. Okay, when we make a tint, I can't use this same color pile like I just did with my shade. I need to use a clean brush to make sure I'm not crossing any of my colors over. I want to keep it totally clean. I'm going to take my pure color again, so blue plus yellow, mix that together to make my pure color. And then I make it a tint by adding some white, mixing that together, and that's my finished tint. And that is what I paint right over here. Okay, that's the whole top section of this finished, mixed with a paintbrush. The other mixing tool that you can use for this is a palette knife. A palette knife is a great tool for mixing lots of different paint colors without cross-contaminating them on your plate. If you look back at my palette over here, I used my paintbrush to mix my colors and I cross-contaminated my colors all around here as I scooped things in and out. Palette knife is a great way to avoid that. I'm going to make a pure color again. This time I'm going to use cerulean and some purple. Before I go sticking it in here to scoop up some purple, I'm going to pause. I'm going to take my shop towel, wipe it totally clean so there's no paint left on it. Scoop up some of that alizarin crimson, add it to my pile. That's how I keep my colors clean. Now there's no cross-contamination between these paint colors. To use your palette knife, you scoop up all of the paint onto your knife, squish it back down again on your palette paper, and then you spread it around kind of like you're putting butter on toast. Okay, you scoop it back up again, and then keep squishing it back down as many times as you need. I got a little more red than I got blue, so I'm going to add some more blue. You keep going. Once that's finished, that's the pure color. You're going to repeat the same process using the palette knife by wiping it clean, picking up a little bit of black and a little bit of your color and making a shade, and then doing the same thing to make a tint. Again, wiping it clean between my uses here. I'm going to take a little bit more of this pure color, add in some white, scoop it up, mix it together, and that is how I get my shade. Excuse me, my tint. All right, and then I would paint it in right over here. So that is how you use these two different painting tools. Remember, you can use a brush. You're just going to get more cross-contamination between your colors, which sometimes that's what people want, depending on whatever you're working on. If you want clean piles of color, you would benefit more from using the palette knife, just like we did here. Make sure you totally fill in all your different color samples. Make sure you're keeping them all totally clean. Wipe off your palette knife between uses. Keep everything great. And good luck. Thank you for watching. Bye.